Hello and welcome. I'm your host Elizibar, and check this out. All right, DC Comics officially dumps Diamond Comic Distributors. That's big news. Diamond has had an effective monopoly on comic books since the late 90s, after Marvel kind of crashed the comic industry and destroyed the distribution system and hurt the direct market and began this downward spiral of pain that comic books seems to find themselves in. So, what does this mean? This means that DC, you might remember a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, they set up a distribution deal with two new organizations, UCS and Lunar, which those are actually, UCS I think is Midtown and Lunar is DCBS. So those are actually retailers who have substantial distribution infrastructure already because of how big they are, but they're retailers who then formed distribution companies so that DC could sell books, even though Diamond was not shipping. I thought that was a temporary thing. I imagine a lot of people did. But looking back on it, I guess it doesn't make sense to consider that sort of thing as a temporary thing because setting up a new corporate entity and all that, that's a lot of work. And if you're going to do the paperwork, you're going to get all that done. File for the existence of these entities, maybe sign over some leases in their name, transfer properties. You probably don't want to just turn right around and undo everything you just did. It'd be a waste of effort. 3 weeks of sales is probably not enough to pay for all the work that went into that legally. Like the lawyer's fees, filing paperwork, doing the tax paperwork, like all that kind of stuff. That takes money, it takes time, it takes human effort. So DC is dropping Diamond in favor of them. So any final order cutoff orders dated up to June 1st will be fulfilled through Diamond. Everything else needs to go through either Lunar or UCS. Now, I for one think this is a pretty good thing. A single corporate entity who can fail is bad for an industry. If you only have one company out there and they go under or they stop shipping, like Diamond stopped shipping, then the whole industry grinds to a standstill. That means suppliers can't ship. Retailers can't purchase. And if the retailer can't purchase the books because the distributor won't ship it to them, then the retailer can't sell you the book. So it affects everybody when Diamond can't ship. Now, if you have UCS and Lunar, they're shipping books. Diamond wasn't for those couple of weeks. Monopoly was already like soft broken, but this is like the hard break because DC is severing its relationship. They're not going to distribute through Diamond anymore. Think about that. They're going to distribute through these other two companies who have carved the U.S. up into two territories. Each one is responsible for like one half of the country. Boom, done. Money going into their pockets. I have to wonder if the industry is actually big enough to support that many distributors, for starters. But it's a great thing. It's a great thing. More competition means that Diamond will have to step up their game. Because, here's an example. Real life example. 3 weeks ago, I was supposed to get Mirka Andolfo's Unsacred number 5. Well, the box that was shipped into my store, Graham Cracker Comics, was damaged. The whole corner was wrecked. So all the books that were in that corner were crushed and crumpled. And my shop man was like, you could buy one of these, or you can wait for me to get you a new one. But he's going to end up eating that cost because he's got those things just sitting on the shelf. Nobody's going to buy them because they're all wrinkledy-crinkledy. So he's going to just have to put them in the 50-cent bin and give them away on a Wednesday. Now, a lot of retailers are kind of upset about this decision by DC. And they're upset for a good reason because they view DCBS and Midtown as their direct competitors. And it's true that they are competitors to some extent because they're in the same business selling comic books to consumers. But unless you're in New York City, Midtown is not really a direct competitor. They're just another online storefront. And as a comic book retailer, if your customers are going to be buying stuff online, they're probably not coming into your store already. It's a different kind of market. I go to the comic book store because I like my 5-minute chat with with the guy behind the counter, who will then tell me things that are interesting to me or who might make a recommendation. An online store doesn't give that. DCBS is an even more different business model because they're not just an online store. If you order from them, you get like one shipment a month unless you pay more, and you get like 30% off. It's a totally different business model. They just like ship stuff to you. But stores are worried about that. Probably a more justified concern for them is that they have to shake up their own business model, their own processes. They can't just say, yo, Diamond, ship me this stuff, and then take whatever Diamond sends them. Now it's going to be like, yo, Diamond, I want these Marvel and Image and indie books. Yo, Lunar or UCS, I want these DC books. So now they have to split off into two different suppliers. Guess what, store owners? Guess what? I know you don't want to hear this. Because it's going to make your life more complicated. But that's normal. No other industry only has one distributor out there. No industry does. Regular bookstores deal with like a half dozen different distributors and like 20 major publishers. Well, 20 major and indie publishers. Like, there's a lot of companies that print books. There's like the big 5 or 6, I forget. And then there's a whole like constellation, not to mention all the imprints that all these different publishing houses have. And then all that stuff feeds out into like a half a dozen big distributors. And so some distributors have some publishers, some don't. But you got to reach out to different groups and buy stuff. And if you run a bookstore, you also have to deal with like newsstand distributors and stuff like that, which that's a whole nother entirely different business that does tie into comic books, because those are also the organizations that used to distribute comics everywhere. You used to be able to go to a newsstand and buy all your Marvel comics because all your Marvel comics were right there because the newsstand distributor sent them to the newsstand. Not anymore, though. The direct market killed that because it was cheaper for publishers to not have to have returnability. It was better for distributors, better for publishers, and for a while it was better for stores, but I don't know that that is still necessarily true. So it's kind of a big deal. I'm going to just scroll down here and just highlight this section here of their state. Oh, actually, before that, there was a typo. DC's long-standing, relationship with Diamond. But moving forward, we will continue our distribution relationship with Lunar and UCS, and then Penguin Random House for graphic novels worldwide. It's big news. This is a huge shakeup to the comic book industry. This changes a lot of stuff. Destroys a lot of assumptions. It's going to shake up a lot of business models. I don't know how things are going to fall out over time. But thank you, First Comic News, for showing us the letter that was sent to retailers by DC. It's a pretty interesting read. You all take care of yourselves. You have a great day. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I sure hope to see you again next time. Until then, bye-bye.